the two areas that I would have been involved in were a mental health project and then a natural medicine programme. People wouldn't have much access to healthcare. I mean, 42% don't have any access to healthcare. There's no health system like we have there, so people are reliant on, using what they have. And obviously medicinal herbs are very, very important.
We were working with the indigenous farmers, and myself particularly working with small farmers, extremely poor farmers. They use money lenders to get money for the seeds. They grew their produce and they sold them to middlemen because they didn't have transport to bring them directly to the markets themselves.
Yeah, in the beginning I was, as you can imagine, very confused when I came back from Guatemala in 2006. And after this hurricane destroyed parts of the country, I didn't know where to start, and I met a lot of people who were crying, and I met this old man in nearly 3,000 meters high. They were evacuated from their houses because they were in danger to be destroyed from landslides, and they were living in tents. And he said, "Oh yeah, what can you do for us?" he said. And I said, I said, "We are just a small organization." I said, "I can't promise anything." But he said, "Thanks for coming. At least we are not forgotten." There were 600 people killed by landslides. They were just crosses now. And when you see this, and that's tough. But this old man is the one I never forget.
Quite a lot of them were malnourished. They were very small. Quite often they didn't have breakfast in the morning. I mean, there was one lady, we asked what did she have for breakfast. She didn't eat anything, and she said that she might go and get some herbs, some weeds in the forest for lunch. That was what she was going to eat that day, and she had no idea what she would eat in the evening. The way that they live there on the finca farms is very difficult because they don't have any rights to the shack that they live on, so they're under the threat of being moved at any minute, So that one old lady we spoke to, she had moved numerous times in her life, and she was at the end. She was near the end of her life, and for me that kind of struck me fairly hard because she was nowhere near where she grew up, and she had no way of getting back there. She was going to die in this totally different part of Guatemala where she comes from,
The Dingle Peninsula has a landscape which is like no other in Western Europe. There is a huge variety of archaeological monuments surrounding the peninsula. This mountainous finger of land juts into the Atlantic Ocean and has supported various tribes and populations for almost 6,000 years. The peninsula is in a remote location, and so the preservation of well over 2,000 monuments has been amazingly preserved. The history of the Dingle Peninsula is one of uniqueness, and it has a complex history. Many may not be impressed by the archaeological heritage, but when one combines every site's folklore and mythology and sees how through the Irish language generation after generation have kept this amazing history alive.
Called here blown in. Literally, I think I was brought by the wind.
On St. Stephen's Day, Basically everyone in Dingle gets dressed up. It's a day where everyone in the community kind of gets together. I think it's a really important day for people from Dingle, also for people that have moved into the area. It's a great tradition, and I think it brings the community together.
Ireland is my home, but it took a long number of years for me to feel that belonging, and while I've always loved living here, certainly initially it was quite a culture shock for me to move to West Kerry.
We were here for some time before we realised what it really was the Irish language. So we set about learning that, because we would have done a lot of damage opening a business here and employing people and doing it through English.
Learning the Irish language gave a kind of access to the Irish character.
To be honest, I think I was struggling for about 7 or 8 years really, with thinking a lot of home and Switzerland, and being peed off sometimes that I can't talk my language and say exactly what I want to, and maybe also get the responses that I'm used to.
It's a beautiful place, really is a beautiful place, but in a way it's very restrained. We're at the very end of a peninsula.
When you're busy, it's hard to make really close contacts with other people.
Maybe the fact that my wife is Irish has made me a big part Irish myself, because I would have had a lot to do with her own family.
And you meet different people, and of course my identity has changed in a way that it wouldn't have changed if I had lived in Denmark.
You're home here, but you'll never be fully home. There's never 100%, and if you're gone from a country, from your home country for a certain amount of time, you become homeless.
Is marig min share mi
I don't think it bothers people what people are, you know, we're just all human beings. I think it's how people behave is the key to how people fit into any community.
It's a very open place for outsiders, like